So today's topic is about holding the reins of the mind. So it is about the thoughts, inner thoughts or emotions, how that is going to influence us. Do you have a choice to control on it, or do you have any option to control or overcome the influence of it? We are going to hear from our brother Mr. Balkishore, a very interesting and a very deep presentations from our brother. So just before going to the presentation, let me give a brief introduction about Brother Balakishore. He has done his MTech in computer science in 1995, and he has also done his certificate in business administration from Manchester Business School, UK. And he is one of the 12 young managers awarded for this British Turing Scholarship from the British government actually in 2000. And he is also currently working as Vice President, Software Quality Divisions, which is a $1 billion company actually, which is United Online company. And more important, he is associated with the Brahma Kumaris for the past 17 years and balancing his life of both work versus practicing this highest Raja Yoga meditation actually. So I warmly welcome Brother Balkishore and request him to start his presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. So I hope all of you had good sleep, because this body is very interesting. If you don't give the sleep that it needs at the appropriate time, it knows how to snatch it. So very good morning. And today, over the next 25 to 30 minutes, I will be sharing my thoughts on holding the reins of the mind. Reins ka matlab hai lagam. If I want to control my mind, what are some of the aspects that I need to be aware of so that I can take control of my thoughts and I'm able to focus, I'm able to concentrate on the things that I am doing. So the presentation consists of two parts. The first part, I'm going to share what are the changes that are happening in the world out there which are affecting my state in here. And the second half of presentation consists of how can I take charge of my thoughts, and what is it the latest developments in the field of neuroscience are talking about, how meditation is going to help us concentrate our thoughts. We will explore some of those aspects. But before, what best way to learn about a subject than through a very simple example, and if it happens to be a video and a story, so much more good. So now we'll be playing you a short clip. This video clip is from Peter Brook's Mahabharata. So it's about Drona trying to teach Pandavas and Kauravas how to aim and shoot an arrow. So please watch, and then we will continue after that.
What do you see?
I see the vulture.
Do you see the wall?
Yes, I see the wall. I see my bow and the arrow. I see my arm.
Back to your place. Nakula, come here. You to Bhima. You to Duryodhana. Aim at the bird. What do you see?
I see the bird, the sky.
My hand. I see the bird. I see my bow. I see the top of the wall.
I see a cloud in the sky. Back, all of you. 2, 3. Arjuna. Hurt two. Aim. What do you see? A vulture. Describe the vulture. I can't.
Why?
I can only see its eye.
With your... I'll make you the finest archer in the world.
So, well, hope you have been able to get the message where Drona is asking the Pandavas and Kauravas, when they try to aim, he asks them, what is it that they see? One says they see the sky. Someone else says, I see the bow. Someone else says, I see the cloud. And then he says, move over. Because right then he knows their arrow will not hit the eye. When he calls Arjuna, Arjuna is the only one who says, I can see only the eye. I can't see anything else. So proverbially, most of us want to see the eye, but we end up seeing the sky. Some of us see the bow, some of us see the bird. Is it possible for us to see the eye as long as we want by holding the reins of our mind? What are some of the methods we can use to achieve that? But before that, we'll try to see what are those distractions that have come about in the last few decades that distract us so much that we are no longer able to see the eye, but most of the times we end up seeing the sky. So what are the reasons for seeing the sky and not the eye? We will explore some of those reasons, because it's very important for us to know what is it that we are doing as a part of our life and how those actions are impacting our ability to think, our ability to focus, our ability to concentrate. So the first one is the changed lifestyle. Well, I guess that's self-explanatory, so I'm not going to explain or spend much time. It's known that in America, most of the people spend a minimum of 4 hours of television watching, and nowadays it's increasing even in India, where even the small kids, they are just put in front of the television so that the mom and pop can do their work. Or most of the time when we come back from office, it's the couch and the television. And you know what all we are going through, so I'm not going to go into those details either. That's again self-explanatory. That was a typical CRT, and this is what we have, the LEDs and plasmas nowadays. And the next one is the information overload. You will be surprised to hear this, as I was when I read this. 1 week's worth of New York Times paper publishes enough information, as much as the information that we knew until 17th century all over the world. So you can see how much information is being generated on a daily basis all over the world. And if you want to understand the information overload, you need not go any further than your own little mailbox. Typically, I myself receive around 300 emails a day after redirecting a few hundreds into the junk mail folder. Now, this information overload has its cost. It impacts the way we think, it impacts the way we decide, it impacts our attention span too. There's another interesting one. They did research in 1960s on school kids, and they found the typical attention span of the kids for being able to attend a class is between 40 to 45 minutes. You know, that's where this 45 minutes of minimum time period of a class comes from. And today when they did the same test, can you guess what might be the attention span? It's about 11 minutes. So our ability to focus our attention on anything singular to produce something meaningful is drastically coming down. And as you see here, naturally when you see so much text, you would not want to read, nor would I. The rabbit is explaining about how our attention span is decreasing over the years because of internet, because of email and all that stuff, while his friend keeps texting away using his mobile phone, and after all the thing is done, he says, well, sorry, too long, didn't listen. And this is a very interesting, what we call as a Twitter curve. In 1980s, because of the pagers that were introduced then, the minimum time period between two interruptions was at least 2 hours, or maybe a little more than an hour. Now when we sit in front of our computers, when we get connected to the internet, we have our chat, we have our Facebook, we have our Twitter. The minimum time period between two interruptions has actually come down to a few seconds. Imagine what kind of load it must be putting on our brains, the cognitive load it generates in terms of the attention span where we have to switch between different tasks. There is a switching penalty. जब आप एक काम से दूसरा काम करना चाहते हैं तो एक काम से दूसरा काम करने से पहले आपको अपना मन को ओरिएंट करना पड़ेगा, रीओरिएंट करना पड़ेगा. अगर वो 1 सेकंड का टाइम आप दे रहे हैं तो आप सोच सकते हैं कि दूसरे काम पर आप कितना अटेंशन दे पाते हो. Because that is coming down to just few seconds, and that's putting a lot of cognitive overload. And when your cognitive sense is overloaded, when your brain is overloaded, you will not be able to concentrate. And the next one is multitasking. Typically, if you ask anyone, now in the past we used to have only one mobile phone. And now we have at least 2 mobile phones. We have a pager. And if you are in the office, you have a fax machine, you have a telephone, you have your own 2 mobile phones, you have email. Imagine the number of things that we have to handle and what kind of load it must be generating on this 3-pound brain. And that has a direct impact on our ability to focus, on our ability to concentrate. Too much choice. Most people might not understand that when they think that choice is good, but when there is too much choice, research shows, this is just an example, a sampling for you. In by our local operator, we are provided 90 TV channels. Number of websites as of December 2009 is 234 million. A million is 10 lakhs. Videos served by YouTube, 1 billion. That is 100 crores per day within 24 hours. Number of blogs on the internet, 126 million people are writing away their thoughts so that somebody else can read. Now, this is what you get, a simple sample, a small sample when you get onto the internet. So, itni sari cheezon se aap chun sakte hain. Then imagine what kind of resources are needed when you have to make the choice. And that is from a pharmaceutical store in US. All these are nothing but different common cold treating medicines. अगर आपको जुकाम आई है उससे छुटकारा पाने के लिए जब आप मेडिकल हॉल में जाते हो तो इतने सारे चॉइस अवेलेबल है आपको. And now this is another simple example. Which one would you choose? Now this is also generating a lot of stress. And what are the results of this too much choice? Very difficult to choose. In the past, we had only, we had a Kirana store or we had a bigger store a few miles away in the town or the city where we would get whatever we want. But today in our own neighborhood, we have 5 supermarkets and then maybe innumerable number of Kirana stores even if you want to buy your grocery. It becomes very difficult to choose when you have so many choices. And even after you make your choice, you are always less satisfied because you think something better might be available somewhere else. So maybe I am not exploring that. Continuous partial attention, because you are not able to spend time on one particular choice to think about it because there are so many choices and limited time, which leads to continuously you are giving only partial attention to different things. This is another interesting thing. Once I make a choice, and once I start doing something, this is another problem that I have seen even in my office. And even in most of the places, I should not be doing something, I should not be doing this now. Maybe मुझे और कुछ करना चाहिए था इधर बैठने के अलावा. So there is that opportunity cost. Maybe I should be doing something else and not this, which also robs you of your focus. Because sitting here, you're always thinking of something else. So neither are you there, nor are you here. Once you have a choice, say you have 10 types of choice, your expectations about how good a thing can be, they start increasing. Then you start thinking, I used to wear a jeans where I used to have a couple of fittings, and then it used to fit me. But now there is a proper fit when I go to this shop. Maybe I will get a better fit if I go to another shop. So your expectations of what is good, they start increasing. And this leads to, interestingly, what we call as self-blame. What it means is, you always keep telling yourself, nahi mujhe ye nahi lena chahiye hoga. Maybe I should have chosen something else. Maybe I should have searched for another shop. Maybe I should have taken some other college. Maybe I should have taken some other degree. So you start blaming yourself because you are never satisfied with the choices you have made, and that leads to a lot of stress, which, as we all know, if it is prolonged, leads to depression. All this because of the amount of choice that is available to us and our inability to make the appropriate choice. And when these kind of, whether it is information overload, whether it is multitasking, or too much choice, when they are stressing our brains, our ability to think, and they are overloading our limited cognitive capacity that each one of us has, how does that impact the brain? कि ब्रेन के ऊपर ये जो दबाव है, स्ट्रेस है, उसका इफेक्ट क्या होता है, उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होता है. Recently in 2008, there's a researcher called Amy Anston who has published a very interesting paper in Nature Neuroscience journal. And there she shows that when you are relaxed, this is the brain and this is the prefrontal cortex, or this portion. This is what we call as prefrontal cortex, which is what separates us from the rest of the animals, because we have the ability to think, to decide, and to be self-aware. Those are provided by this prefrontal cortex. When you are not stressed, when you are alert but you are not stressed, then all your functionalities of the brain and thus your thinking capability is under your control. It's under the control of your PFC, or the prefrontal cortex. That means the more the activity in this area, we can simply translate it to saying the better capability for me to decide. That means I have better decision making power because I am utilizing the circuits of my prefrontal cortex. But when you are stressed, when you are not able to decide, what is its impact on the brain? What happens? If you see there is no activity here, that means my ability to decide drastically comes down, and amygdala, which controls the emotions, that starts flaring up. So what you do is, in that hurry, in that indecisiveness, you start making mistakes. And this is how stress impacts our ability to focus or concentrate. If you are afraid, if you are stressful, if you are thinking too much about something else, you know that you have already left the reins of your mind. And even when you look at the bird, you will not see the eye, you will only see the sky. Because already this portion of your brain is completely switched off. And well, that was a brief overview of how different things are impacting our concentration. Now let's explore what are some of the aspects, or what are some of the changes or insights I need to understand so that I can start seeing the eye. When I look at the bird, I don't see the sky, but I'll see the eye. That means I'm able to focus. Is there a possibility for me to regain that capability? Let's explore some of those. A few simple tips. It helps to plan the day ahead, preferably the night before or early in the morning, so that you know what is in store for you and how much time it takes. This is very important. Keep track of your shifting moods. If you want to think about some complicated algorithm, you want to write a very important message or a document, it does not make sense to sit on it immediately after lunch. Because immediately after lunch, as most of you must have experienced here, Brahma Kumaris are very famous for giving some of the best food in the world, of course, which is cooked in the God's remembrance, not only that, including the taste. So once you eat that and you come in for a session, I already see some people in the audience. So you understand what I mean. And this is important for us to keep track of these shifting moods so that we can allocate when we are most alert, we will be able to take up the most complex tasks so that the focus and concentration are not impacted. Very important, taking regular breaks. And it has been found through research again, if you can take at least 15 minutes short power nap after your lunch, your capability to concentrate increases by many folds, so that for the next 2 or 3 hours, your ability to focus and concentrate on the tasks is very much improved. And of course, as some of my colleagues tell me, Bala, we know when to get into the sleep, but we have no control when we get up. So if that is what the case with you, then please don't get into the sleep. अगर कब सोना है इस पर हमारा कंट्रोल है, कब उठना है हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते, अगर आप ऐसा सोचते हैं तो आपको ये टिप लागू नहीं होगी. Very important. When you are attending any emails, attending any important session, a presentation, or you're thinking, you won't lose anything. Switch off your mobile, tell your operator to switch off the telephone, switch off your monitor so that you have undivided attention. Because all these are disturbances which rob us away of our focus and concentration. This is very important. Thinking, concentrating, focusing is a cognitively expensive activity. इसका मतलब है बहुत सारा energy की ज़रूरत होती है. Brain is only 2% of the body's weight, but it consumes more than 20% of the energy. And thinking and concentrating especially is expensive in terms of resources. So it helps to have nutritious food and eat at regular intervals so that you never run out of glucose when you need it when you are thinking about something important. And these are some of the physical tips about how we can take charge of our reins and improve our capability to keep looking at the eye. And now I'd like to explore the spiritual perspective, which is seldom looked into whenever the discussions about concentration are discussed. So clutter is confusion. Is there a way for us to move from clutter to concentration, from confusion to more clarity? Very important. Concentration results from prioritization. When I have more than one task to do, concentration is directly proportional to my capability not only to choose what I want, but also to discard what I don't want. So the first one, it results from prioritization. And where does prioritization come from? Prioritization comes from clarity. What I should be doing at this point of time and what I should not be doing. And where does clarity come from? Clarity comes from giving enough time to understand two things: to understand myself, how I am, what is my state of being, and to understand the task at hand, what activity I am doing currently or what I am supposed to be doing. So these are two important things the clarity will result from. And where does clarity come from? It comes from giving enough time to yourself, and giving enough time to yourself is the first step in meditation. And in few minutes, we will also explore that aspect, and we will practically experience that too at the end of the session. And continuing, when I give this talk when I talk about concentration to college students, most of them, they say, sir, we want to learn meditation because we want to improve concentration. So then I ask them a simple question, and the same question to all of you too. When you are watching your favorite TV show, I don't know whether Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi is still continuing. So when you are watching that favorite TV show or your favorite movie, when was the last time you were disturbed about the activity or the maths assignment you were supposed to deliver? When was the last time you were disturbed, your focus got shifted because you have a commitment, you have an appointment with somebody else? We don't. And the students start laughing. 3 hours of uninterrupted focus on Shah Rukh Khan or Kajol or whoever, and there is no disturbance at all. Is that not focus? Is that not concentration? That means we have the capability to focus. We have the capability to concentrate. It is innate in us. So when somebody says, I need concentration, I would say that's the wrong question to ask. Because when you are doing the task that you love, you will never get disturbed. Your focus never gets disturbed. And when we are doing any task, any job, if we love that, then there is also no disturbance. And it is said, find the job you love and you don't have to work even for a single day. Doing the job you love is happiness. But loving the job you're doing is joy. Can I make whatever task I am doing, if I can start loving that, then automatically there are no lapses in my concentration because I like doing what I am doing. And let's go a little deeper. Try to check your perspective towards the task. मतलब जो भी आप काम कर रहे हैं, उस कार्य की तरफ, उस काम की तरफ आपका दृष्टिकोण क्या है, आपका अप्रोच क्या है? क्या आप अच्छी तरह से समझ पाते हैं कि मैं जो ये कर रहा हूं वो इस समय इंपॉर्टेंट है और मुझे पूरी तरह से समझ है मैं ये क्यों, कैसे और क्या कर रही हूं या कर रहा हूं? That clarity of purpose is extremely important. Let me give you a simple story. There was this guy who was, there was something getting built and he was observing some 3 masons. You know, masons जानते हैं आप, जो construction workers. तो एक mason जो था, he had to take the bricks from one place and put it on another place. That is what he was doing all through the day, and he was yelling and shouting and cursing himself. And then he was very angry when he was doing the job. Then there was a second mason who was doing his job, that's fine, he was neither happy nor sad. But there was a third mason who was very happy doing exactly the same job of putting the stones on top of a wall. So he didn't understand. Same job, यहाँ से पत्थर लेके उस दीवार पे लगाना है. And there are 3 masons. How is this big difference? Then he asked them. The first mason, he asked when he said, I am doing this petty job for just 70 rupees a day for the past 17 years. I don't know when I will finish this. Maybe when I die, this will complete. So saying, he ran to pick up another stone and then put it on the wall. That was the first guy who was very irritated. Then he went to the second mason and asked, sir, why are you doing this? You know, how is that you are neither happy nor sad? Then the second mason answered, sir, I have a family to take care of. So if I do this job, I'll get money. So I'm doing it so that I can take care of my family. Okay, good. Then he goes to the third mason. He says, you know what, for how long have you been doing this? He says, for more than 20 years. Then he says, do you have a family? Yes, I have a family. And how come you are so happy? He says, I am happy because I am building a huge temple which will provide solace to thousands of people for next hundreds of years to come. That's the activity I am participating in. That is what gives me happiness. Same stone, same wall. But my perspective, how I am placing the work, the task that I am doing, governs what kind of impact I have on myself and on my ability to concentrate. This is very important for each one of us to question. Let me give you another beautiful example closer home. As you must have all seen here, all the Brahmakumar Sevadharis who are doing here, they don't call it as a task. Anything that you hear, we call here it as seva, an offering. Whether it is sweeping the floor, whether it is setting up the projector, whether it is giving a talk, whether it is cooking. Everything is a service, is an offering. When I consider my task as an offering for the betterment of the world at large, then it does not become a drudgery. It is no longer drudgery because I feel empowered enough because I'm doing something larger than myself. And that's what gives rise to devotion to my task. And devotion leads to dedication. And dedication in turn leads to concentration. When you are not able to concentrate on any task next time, ask yourself, what is the big picture of this task? Simple thing like cooking for your kids. What is this? For so many years I have been cooking. Should I take care of these kids? For how long? When will they come on board? If you have these kind of thoughts, you will never enjoy that. But if you think, this food is going to help make the future leaders of our country, and here I am as their mother doing this service to the nation by taking care of my kids, imagine the kind of enthusiasm you would have each time you enter the kitchen. when you, as scientists, as researchers, when you have the big picture in mind, instead of thinking that I have to go to this boss, I have to write this proposal, I have to do this research, the same kind of drudgery again and again, I'm doing this for the past 10 years, I don't know for how long. Instead, if you can always think about the ultimate purpose your work is going to serve, and how you are contributing your small portion to the big picture, imagine what would happen to our levels of love and thus to our ability to focus and concentrate. Change your perspective if you want to change the levels of your concentration. That's another tip. Ability to be a detached observer. Most of the times, when we have too much choice and too many decisions that we have to make, it is not the presence of choice that disturbs me. It's my inability to let go the things that I don't want creates the problem. So whenever I make a decision, that decision making is more stressful because fear and ego, they interfere when I'm choosing my alternatives. मुझे ये भी चाहिए, ये भी चाहिए, ये भी चाहिए. नहीं, अगर नहीं ये नहीं होगा तो ये कैसे? ये नहीं होगा तो ये कैसे? We are not willing to let go. And if I can detach myself from my fears, from my ego, and then make a decision, becomes so much more easier for me to regain my focus and not get unnecessarily confused. Art of letting go to minimize the confusion as a continuation. Simple example, you are stuck in a traffic jam, you have to go to the airport, and you are still 1 hour away, and in the last 1 hour you have moved only a few inches. That's the traffic jam. And then when you see, you keep thinking about the flight, but after a certain stage, you feel even if I reach airport now, the flight would have gone, so I won't be able to catch it. Once you make the decision and you say, okay, I will go tomorrow, what happens at the moment you make the decision? What happens to the confusion? What happens to the tension? What happens to the frustration? Because you have made a decision. You said, I will go tomorrow, period. Is it possible for us to make those kind of decisions, detaching ourselves from the pressure at that moment so that we will be in a better position to focus? When we are relaxed, even we'll reach something called the theta state, which will help us make better decisions. Same thing about self-talk and practice of meditation. Before doing the task, is it possible for me to talk to myself to regain my focus? Let me give you an example. When I tell this to my friends, they say, "Sirf pagal log hi apne saath baat karte hain." Those who are mad only talk to themselves, but we can also talk to ourselves. And how is that? When we talk about distractions, we can ask ourselves, who is distracting? Is the distractant distracting you, or are you allowing the distraction to distract you? Very important. There's a subtle difference. Is the ringing mobile phone asking you to pick up, or you are picking it up because you cannot stand it ringing? Is the movie or TV show asking you to watch it, or are you choosing to watch it? TV disturb karta hai mujhe, dumb TV. You switch it off, it's off. It doesn't even have its own intelligence. I am both responsible and responsible for my actions. And I'm the creator of my choices and also the creation. And now I'll just walk you through quickly about how this self-talk and meditation helps you to regain the concentration. So they have done this research in US in one of the universities to find out what kind of effect, calming effect meditation has on the mind. So here if you see, this is the part which helps you to receive the sensory inputs from the body. When you meditate, this region, it stops its action or it reduces its action. That means the external disturbance that you are getting to your brain is minimized. And if you go to the next one, can we please go to the next one? The meditation training. This one. Can you just click that? No, this tab. Yeah, this tab, yeah. So if you observe here, with just 8 weeks of training for 1 hour every day, the relaxation component, which we call it as the theta component, it started increasing, and the alpha component of the brain waves, it started decreasing. Alpha is basically conscious thought. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. We can go to the last slide. Yeah. So even science is now saying that meditation is not for somebody who is past 60 years and who is retired, but for all of us, during our productive work lives and how it is impacting the brain and our ability to improve our focus and concentration. And if you observe the different topics that we have come up with in this conference, all of them are directly or indirectly related to taking the charge back, being able to focus, being able to hold the reins of our mind so that we can improve not only the task that we are doing, but also the kind of reaction or the kind of experience that we get from what we are doing. And this is one thing which I really love. This is by Austrian psychologist called Viktor Frankl. He said, between every stimulus and response, there is a space. Agreed? And in that space, we have the freedom to choose. And in our choice lies our success. And in order to improve my focus or success, what is it that I need to do in that space? In that space, I need to rethink. I need to rethink myself, my priorities, my mindset, so that it helps improve my concentration. Good. I guess that's all I have for today. And we will also experience this meditation at the end of the session as to how this meditation experience allows us to calm ourselves, by which we can focus or improve our concentration whenever and wherever we want. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Balakishore Bhai. It's really a very very detailed presentation. So, having listened to it, I would like to give some opportunity for the audience. If you have any specific questions are there, you are welcome to ask now. And our brother is...
I cannot but agree all the points what you have said.
Thank you.
It's an excellent presentation. Accept my appreciation on the issue. My point, one of the points which is there, doing the job you love is happiness, loving the job you are doing is joy. Excellent. Why don't we consider a situation, any job which comes, I love to do.
Sorry?
Any job which comes in my way, I do the job equally well.
Exactly.
That is what is required.
Yes, that's exactly what, you are right, sir. That's the extension of what was written there, where it's saying, doing the job, loving the job I have to do is joy, because any task that comes in front of me, I accept it, put it in the big picture, and have fun. You're right. Yes, sir.
Let me extend heartfelt thanks to you. On behalf of all the audience, I would like to appreciate your way of thinking related to reins of mind, how to control the reins of mind. One question I would like to ask, being a professor of management at Pune, that definitely concentration helps the man to make a decision and take a decisions. And what are the different types of, say, disturbances that you have mentioned rightly? How we will be able, in this age of information technology and the products that you have shown in this presentation, to concentrate? I'm not referring to particular class as such. I'm referring to managers, community at home, as a whole in the whole world. How we will be able to give a training and education to the managers to make a correct decisions at the correct time, choosing exactly the right in the shortest time, and make our global management very effective with Indian ethos and culture. I would like to have just your comment on that. I am appreciating your presentation very well. Thank you very much.
Sure, sir. So let me answer it. Is that okay? Can I speak before you speak, sir? Is that okay? Can I speak? Okay, please, please.
I am really very grateful for your nice presentation, sir. But according to my own opinion, for any task which we have to face, if we face it in a creative, constructive, and optimistic and passionate manner, we can definitely overcome many hindrances that are facing in achieving the real target. And for eternal exaltation of accomplishment, I think really your own interest, your desire, your discipline, your dedication are the crucial elements for your eternal success and eternal achievement. Thank you, sir.
Excellent. So half the question has been shared by sir. So I would like to add one more thing, sir, with respect to training, with a big disclaimer and a caveat with respect to what I just shared. Whatever may be the kind of training material that we create, it needs to be first-hand. But the decision to get trained is on the students. I can take the horse to drink to the river, but I can never make it drink. If my happiness is proportional to the horse drinking the water, it's incorrect expectation. My responsibility ends, I'll try my best to make the horse drink the water. There ends my capacity to influence the horse's decision. If the horse chooses not to drink the water, if the students choose not to take your training, and if you blame your training material and your trainers for that, that's incorrect. It's an incorrect place to blame. So if students are interested, by providing those opportunities, and I fully agree with you in terms of educational institutions, in terms of organizations, in terms of the management education, the missing link that is not currently visible, that is not currently available for the students is they are not even made aware. Forget about choosing. If I am made aware, at least a small portion of those will be able to choose it and decide to move forward. Unfortunately, students are not even aware. And I agree with you, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Give mic. Just give me a second. I'll ask how many more questions we have.
In view of the time, we'll go for 2 more questions actually.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hearty congratulations for such a good presentation. The last point what you just now referred, that you cannot make horse to drink.
Yeah.
You cannot make the horse to drink.
Yes.
Because horse doesn't have the mind which you can orient the mind.
Yeah.
But whereas the children,
Yeah.
you can expect
Yes.
from the teacher or to guru to change the mindset and to make it drink.
Correct.
Is it not the responsibility of the teacher to make mindset quite positive? I think that way we cannot go away from the responsibility that why it is not drinking.
Correct.
I think there the crux lies that the mindset has to be changed by the teachers and the guru.
Perfect.
I hope,
Perfect. There is a certain stage, there is a possibility where we can influence and shape the mindset of the kids, of the children, and even elders if they are willing to. And in those situations, you put your best foot forward and make them aware so that they can choose and change themselves so that you help them. You're right, sir. Yes.
My name is Shankar. I am from Bangalore.
Yeah.
It was nice presentation. I congratulate you, Mr. Balkrishna, for that. And I would like to just draw your attention on the 2 graphs which you have showed regarding these brain waves, the alpha and the beta brain wave. Now you said the alpha brain wave increases at the meditation level, and then at the we have to reduce the beta brain wave level.
So can you please put it a little closer? Yeah.
Yeah. So you said that the beta brain waves.
Theta.
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 Because theta is higher than alpha.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Theta brain level increases during meditation.
Yes.
And then the alpha, you also spoke about the alpha.
Yeah.
So alpha, what happens to alpha?
Yeah. Basically, let me just give you a small, sorry, you complete.
Yeah. What happens to alpha? In the morning, we had this Raja Yoga meditation. Now, what happens at this stage of mind? So during the meditation sessions, So what happens to a mind when he is elsewhere and doing such kind of a concentrated work? Maybe not only the meditation, maybe he'll be doing a job which requires a very high concentration. Maybe a scientist working on his experimentation, or a teacher with his students.
Correct.
As such.
Correct.
Please throw some light on this. Thank you.
To answer two questions, sir. First one is, there's a whole new science about how every state of our being has another state of mind, and how those states of mind can actually be measured through the activity inside the brain, because this brain is also an electrical organ. When I say alpha, it is about the excited stage. When I talk about theta, that is the stage where you are relaxed, where you are in deep relaxation, there is no disturbance, there are no extraneous thoughts. When you sit in meditation, it will help your brain to reach that theta state, which improves automatically focus. And to answer your second half of your question, it has also been found that if you do meditation at least for a few months, and you would want to continue it at least for a few minutes every day, the impact of meditation lasts at least for next 4 to 5 hours. And with practice, you can even extend it to all through the day. So it does not necessarily mean before every task, before every meeting, I sit and have to switch on the meditation commentary and then I have to do 10 minutes meditation. No. If you can do that in the morning, if you can do that in the evening, and take maybe a minute's short breaks in between, that ability to focus and concentrate, it continues. And that's been proven through research. Does that answer your question, sir? Thank you. Yes, sir. I guess this is the last question we are going to take.
Really deep thinking process. I just wanted your opinion on this issue. The gentleman on the other side just now asked, a teacher normally teaches a child. Today's situation in education, especially in the primary and the secondary educations, the teacher may be motivated to do the job. She wants to convey that message, make it sure that the knowledge is shared, but there are not many to take it also. Shishya Pravritti itself is lacking as such. In a context like corroborating, I am responsible for everything which happens in the world. That has been the philosophy within you, which drives the motivating force for a conscious mind. That is what you also said. I agree with this. If that is so, is it the teacher's fault that the purity level of the teacher is so lower to kindle the interest of the students, or the students' layer of evolution itself is so low that they are not able to receive that knowledge? Which is the right?
It's a good question, and in all humility, I agree that I will not be able to cover in few seconds that I will be given by Bharti Bhai, and we can definitely have an interesting discussion on this, sir, because in just summary, as I said in the last quote by Viktor Frankl, it is not about me taking responsibility for everything that happens in the world, but it is me taking responsibility for my own actions. And I have no control on how the other person feels based on my actions, because it's going beyond me. I have best possible intentions, I will put best possible foot and give my best. But if I am not getting the enough support or help from the students, I will not be blaming myself. So it is incorrect to take that responsibility also, because the reaction is coming based on my actions, because that's very subtle and it's a big trap that we all fall into. Thank you. Thank you very much. Om Shanti.